back, everyone, of course, to tonight's tournament. It is the UMG Prime $12 4v4 Search and Destroy here for December 29th. Yes, it's myself, Landon Lando Sanders, live here from the UMG studio. Had a little bit of a restart between both of these teams, and everything should be getting ironed out here shortly, but it does give me a little bit of an opportunity to kind of recap or to kind of provide a little bit of a predictions on how this tournament can obviously take place. A number of different teams in tonight's tournament. I believe we have around 130 total. Starting off, of course, a few hours ago, and we now find ourselves in round number 4, aka the round of 32, which is taking place. We have Bound going up against Defy Rebellion. Very curious, of course, to see this particular matchup take place. Of course, both these teams very well known when it comes down to the kind of UMG online tournaments. Been able to cast over these teams multiple times in the past, so very curious to see their performances versus each other, especially in a Search and Destroy tournament. But as you guys know, and probably do know throughout the tournaments that we've had in prior, of course, we will be playing best of 3s up into the finals, which will be a best of 5 of purely and only Search and Destroy maps. So if I see anyone in the chat say, what hardpoint are they playing, or what's CTF? Like, no, it's just Search and Destroy only S&D. This is where the S&D kids reign, and the pros, I don't say they struggle, but they do their best. They try to compete against the best Search and Destroy players. But of course, there will be a little bit of a battle going on. Very curious to see as well how the top kind of semi-pros, amateur players also do in this tournament. Can definitely see a lot of names start to come on the rise when it comes to tournaments like this one, as everything should be set to go. But of course, when it comes down to this particular best of 3, starting things off on St. Marie du Mans. For map number 2, it will be Search and Destroy on London Docks. And if we do see a map number 3, it will be Search and Destroy, of course, on Arden Forest. So, with that in mind, St. Marie du Mans, very curious to see how this one plays out. I think I've said it like at least 5 times. I apologize. I am, though, very interested to see how both these teams will face off against one another. Of course, for the boys on Bound, it will be Hitmxn, Neonn, LispZeus, and JetLi. And Defy Rebellion consisting of Drama, Derpun, Rain, and Brack. As I believe we actually got the cast over Defy Rebellion a few weeks ago, and I know they at least made it to the finals of a variant tournament. So these guys can do work in the respawns. How will they do when it comes down to Search and Destroy? It looks like it will be the boys of Bound off the start, being an offense, taking control of this B-bomb site, and Hitmxn starting things off well. Finds 2, and I believe does get picked off shortly after that. Hitmxn's teammate was there to find the following kill. As you'll see Neonn here on the flank. Don't even actually need to get the bomb down, which is kind of surprising. They kind of rush into that site, make their presence known. As when it comes into Bound Esports, this team has been known under a few different titles. I know it was kind of, they were the original Beyond Reality team. Beyond Reality ended up releasing this team, picked up another. I think it was like, I forget who was on the team. I just know that Huddle was on that team. Dropped that team, picked back up the old Beyond Reality team, which of course is now Bound. And of course, they kind of parted ways after CDL Dallas. So this group has kind of seen the negatives of roster changes so far in the World War II season, but of course are continuing on, and very curious to watch their play. But it looks like site control yet again going over toward the offensive team, and they're having a lot of success at it, as Hitmxn was able to shut down Derpun in that exchange. 2 versus 3 bomb is down, it looks like, but or does get planted rather from player number 7. That's Rain trying to challenge this one. Is JetLi trying to set up a crossfire, but he doesn't have any teammate support to help him with that. And granted, it was a decent challenge coming in from JetLi, but since Hitmxn can't win this gunfight onto Rain, it obviously causes issues as he'll finish off with the final 2. And this is a play that we were watching quite a bit. For those who didn't know, we actually had a tournament taking place last night, the $300 minimum 4v4 variant, and we got to watch quite a bit of St. Marie du Mans, and it was really a matter of once that kind of offensive man, once the objective guy, the bomb carrier, gets that bomb down on B, he can literally just hold that head glitch for as long as he needs to. That's a primary position that I think is just a kind of how the map is developed, how the map works. It really does favor quite a few of the players who can kind of get on that bomb site and just kind of hang there for as long as possible. But JetLi rocking a pretty interesting class. You see the FG42 along with the gas grenade. A lot of teams obviously prefer to use smokes or stuns, but I have seen a few squads who do prefer to rock those gas grenades. Teams I've seen like E United, Enigma 6, the old Enigma 6 team back with a few different faces like Bevels and Decimate, but looks like JetLi now left alive here in a 1 versus 2. Facing off against Brack and Rain right now is on a full spree right now. 4-1, firing through the wall as he will get rated with a few shots. Brack finding that one as well, as it looks like Rain will be earning streaks after getting this defused. And you see the streaks that he's actually got rocked. Artillery barrage for the third one. No mortar strike or anything like that. As at least right now, the boys on Defy. Starting to make a little bit of some momentum here. And probably one of the most notable players for those who might have watched early, Infinite Warfare. You probably have heard of the name Drama, aka Godma at the top there. Drama, of course, one of the original players on the Gosu crew that was with, of course, Prestini and Arcides and Gunless. Was kind of left to be on that team once they left for E United. And they later went to the Gosu crew where he played with guys like Priesta and Mox. And Exotic, and weren't able to get into the regular season, but definitely had somewhat of an impact. As speaking of Drama, now left in a 1-on-3, of course, the bomb gets down. None of the offensive teams have had no issue getting that down whatsoever, but he actually tosses the nade onto the bomb site, and honestly could have picked up 2 in that situation. I like the play from Drama. Granted, you only have 18 seconds left. He doesn't really know whether or not that bomb is obviously already being defused. But props to Rock and Hunker. That's the reason why they stay alive in that situation. As we're now even at 2. And heading into this round number 5, I want to actually hop on board with the offensive team, if preferred, to see exactly if we see something out of the ordinary, if we see maybe a rush toward bottom red from them. But I don't know. Looks like a full 4-man hit. 2 players kind of hanging toward the back lines. Player number 1 and 3 being JetLi and Neonn. But a quick plant here for LispZeus. Out of sight, out of mind. Now he can focus on the slang aspect. But Hitman and Neonn are doing it for him. 3 popping up, and now Hitman Drama last alive in back-to-back rounds, 1 versus 3, and now he's 0-2 in that particular category. As who wouldn't be? In situations like that, just rather unfortunate play for Drama to be left in situations like this, but just back and forth play is what we're seeing when it comes down to Radio Tower, to B. Teams having issues on getting consistent results. As taking a look at that scorecard right now, at least outliers at the moment. Hitman 6-3. On the opposite end, right now it's Drama and Rain, both at 4-3. And Brack currently struggling at 1-3 at the moment. Keeping in mind streaks for Rain, his teammate. As players just toward his right, LispZeus actually takes out his teammate, so that's a unfortunate exchange. Granted, he finds one, but leaves his overall team in a disadvantage. And with Rain already at streaks, kind of surprised to see them give him the bomb. Or at least for him to pick it up. Not sure if maybe it was one of his teammates who dropped, but he's been the main bomb planter throughout most of this game. As JetLi's doing some work with the sniper, shuts down one, but can't find Drama. Drama, for once, is able to stay alive in one of these rounds. Of course, back-to-back 1 versus 3s, and finally has the man advantage. JetLi nearly had that shot, though. Definitely could have made things a little bit interesting if he would have found that kill, but isn't able to do so. So 3 rounds to 3. And I was kind of talking a little bit about Brack and the issues that we're seeing him have in Search and Destroy at the moment. Whenever we got to watch the Defy Rebellion group, it was a matter of him really being a huge factor when it came down to the respawn. So want to see how he can rebound. No pun intended on the bound thing. But you know what I mean. Just want to see how he can obviously do. See if he can try to get things back underway, because he definitely is a pretty big struggling factor. As you saw toward the beginning of that round, just Brack's point of view, the gas grenade gets tossed out. As the streaks are coming in from Rain, he's able to at least make one happen. Drama falls. JetLi does as well. Now it's up to Neonn in a 1-on-3. As up close and personal fight. I think I might have said Drama died earlier. I didn't mean to say that. But Drama is feeling pretty hot right now. 8-4 on a 4 spree. Should have streaks as well as you look at Rain. Along with Drama. 100, what was that? I think, what, around 100 points away? Around 100 points away there from Drama to also have streaks. I mean, if you are right at the side of Defy Rebellion, you really shouldn't lose the next 2 rounds. I mean, if you play your streaks correctly, next one is going to be an offense. They could easily use this to kind of play back, maybe even force the issue toward A. I really like when teams play on A when it comes into having streaks. It looks like we're actually going to see them do this particular strategy. The reason why they're going to go toward A at this point in the game is just because it's an open bomb site. It's an open bomb site, so if you can get the bomb down, as JetLi actually finds 2, ruining that strat. Derpun also falls as well. Now Drama last alive. I was going to say, a push toward A normally isn't a bad strat, just because of the fact that if you get the bomb down, you have those streaks, you have a glide bomb, a fighter pilot. I mean, this is just open territory. Those streaks can definitely do a lot of work, so with that in mind, Defy Rebellion tries to make the effort, but Bound pretty much has that idea, the same idea in the back of their minds. Of course, they get to see and have the idea that a few players are on runs when it comes down to the overall streak rate, so with that in consideration, it looks like the boys from Bound are going to take a page out of Defy Rebellion's book, making their way toward A. But if you look at the bomb carrier, player number 4 right now, LispZeus in the back lines, thought he might be watching the flank. If things don't work out on this side, you could easily see them trying to make the rotation. But just like that, JetLi ends up dropping for the first blood, and Hitmxn has found himself in the enemy lines, behind enemy lines right now. And if he can play a corner, he can give his team another opportunity to have a man advantage. So with that, bomb carrier making his way slowly but surely as the streaks start to come forward. Nothing found, most likely Mountain being a factor. So Hitmxn's position is not known. Not known here for Brack, but the quick reactions will work out for him. Neonn spotting one instead of top red. As LispZeus does get the plant down. So if you are the player who was in top red, you're a little bit angry at the fact that you weren't able to spot that one. Drama not seeing that particular plant go down, so Neonn and Zeus left to try and hold on to the site. Spawning one, knows that one should be up close, but can't find it. LispZeus ends up dropping, and now Neonn is left in a 1 versus 3. Player just toward his left, and who else other than Drama to finish things off yet again. After those back-to-back 1 versus 3s, he has been finding these round-ending kill cams time after time after time. And now Defy Rebellion find themselves up 5 rounds to 4 with back-to-back pushes toward that unpreferred bomb site over on A. Keeping in mind, I believe they both have, Rain does have streaks. I want to say, does Drama also have streaks, or does he rock those? Can we see if Drama has streaks? No, so he does not have streaks. So Rain, only person who does currently have those, which is the Artillery Barrage, which is a very useful streak to say the least. So you'd like to see maybe if they find at least 1 or 2 of the early kills, he immediately is going to rock that streak, but they've got time to work with. They've got a round to not necessarily throw away as JetLi's able to peek his head forward and gets the trade at the very least, but Derpun, along with finding the first, also finds one onto Hitmxn. And now it's up to Neonn and LispZeus here in the back lines to try and make a play. Can they force the round 11 as the fuse goes down, or the plant goes down quick? The trade is there. And now it's up to Drama. Who else? 1 versus 2. Has the time on his side for the most part. Neonn coming with a challenge and finishes him off. Drama, I believe, was already a little bit weak. So it makes that challenge a little bit easier for Neonn to finish that one off. As a 2 versus 3 retake, they just get fantastic timing, does Defy Rebellion. Or does Bound, excuse me, onto Defy Rebellion. They are able to stop the guy who was getting the plant down. As they just take over that B-bomb site. And it looks like heading in here toward overtime, it will be the boys from Defy on the offensive. Keeping in mind, Rain still has streaks. They're giving him bomb. This is a very risky play for them to be making because nades could be kept coming at any point. Thankfully, he does have Hunker, but regardless, a pretty scary play. Streaks aren't really a factor for him at any point now. But here come the kills. Looks like all 4 players pushing as a unit. It's working out for them, though. 2 kills found early. Drama in the back lines also drops. And now Rain is last alive. Where is he at? And you see Rain actually putting down the artillery barrage onto the bomb site. How much time do they have? He just needs to try and delay for as long as possible. Trying to stay up as Rain. Needs to find anyone as close as he can. And they have to wait to get on the bomb. They keep dropping. They have to be very careful with this defuse. And Neonn and Zeus will finish this one off. It will be the boys from Bound who grab this. Rain, maybe if he could have waited 2, 3 more seconds, he could have put those streaks that would have killed the bomb diffuser at any moment. But it doesn't happen. His teammates drop, and honestly, if you're in that position, if you're Rain, you're saying, guys, just try and stay up, just try and stay alive for as long as possible. But I really respect that play coming in from those guys because they make a full 4-man rush through middle. They make a full 4-man rush kind of on the opposite side, does LispZeus and Co. from Bound. They make the full 4-man rush through middle. and also through bottom red, just to realize that, hey, those streaks are going to come into play. Of course, there is a little bit of a streak delay, but just major props there to those guys for making that particular one, making it kind of rush forward. They're able to kind of pick off players toward the start of the round. They get the man advantage in their favor, but regardless, I mean, I would have loved to have seen if those guys trying to go for a defuse, well, there's like, you know, bombs exploding all the time. It's kind of like a mines that could be going down under the ground at any moment. Like, you know, can he grab the defuse? Is there going to be time? Of course, 7.5 defuse time, but that just was an insane way to close out game number one. One that I personally thought we could see a very close game with. But regardless, it is Bound who find themselves up 1-0 in this series after winning overtime on St. Marie du Mont. And now when it comes into London Docks, I don't want to say it plays similar by any means, but of course when it comes to London Docks, you're seeing a lot of pushes over toward that main kind of street side rather than water. But snipers could definitely be a factor. I think we end up seeing a sniper at one time coming in from JetLi, so curious to see from Bound if he continues to rock that one out for future series. Back to the UMG Prime $1,200 4v4 Search and Destroy here on December 29th. It's myself, Lano, here, guiding you guys through the action in our current round 4 matchup taking place between Bound and Defy Rebellion. It was the boys on Bound who were able to take map number 1 on St. Marie du Mont in overtime, aka in round 11. And now, Defy Rebellion trying to build their way back in some London Docks Search and Destroy. Expect to see quite a few fast rounds when it comes down to London Docks, a map that plays quick in every single game mode, hardpoint, search, destroy, and CTF alike. As teams definitely have to have their reactions on point. The communication has to be there because this isn't a St. Marie du Mont. This isn't one where you can kind of let things slide a little bit and kind of have a delayed call-up. Things have to be fast and ready to go. As we find ourselves in a 2-on-2, bomb is down. And it has been planted, rather. As JetLi tries to go for the dolphin dive, Brack is there to finish him off, and now Neonn left in a 1-on-2 spot. Has some time to work with. And is a little bit loud at the moment. No mountain to be rocked. However, not loud enough for Rain to not be able to spawn him. However, the trade will be there for Defy Rebellion as they'll win this round, along with getting the plant down. And you see Brack, I believe, finishes off at least 2 in this one. Kind of basically from the same position. Of course, JetLi through mid-cut. And, of course, the final one there outside of closet. So, with that in mind, Defy, quick round to grab. And it looks like I was thinking about this. JetLi maybe tempting us with the sniper rifle. I believe that's a little bit of a caster glitch. Does swap classes back to the bar, however. But still, could definitely be a little bit of a factor. See that smoke get tossed out? That's going to... So what we see there, essentially, is what Bound is doing. Is they toss out that smoke to make the opposition think that, hey, a quick rush toward water side is definitely going to happen. But in reality, we actually see Rain make such a huge rush through middle, he can see whether or not people are crossing. So it's not even a factor that smoke gets tossed out. The boys in Defy Rebellion are primed and ready to go, and that's going to be a position that they have to constantly be aware of, and they don't even know about it. So with Rain constantly lingering through middle, every time that smoke gets tossed, as long as Rain is there, that smoke is almost used as a waste. And that bait kind of works a little bit as the same. But JetLi gets picked off. Brack, 1 versus 1. Him and Neonn. It looks like Brack could go for the sneak defuse. Question being, does Neonn try to challenge this? But no, hops on the bomb, and can he find the kill was the thing. Neonn has to try and escape, but he gets caught off as their time. I believe he does have enough time. Brack, in the last time possible, will be able to get streaks as long as this defuse is good to go. And just in the nick of time is able to make it work. Props to Brack in that play. Clutches out the 1-on-2 in what seemed like a round that should have gone to Defy Rebellion's way just because of the great line sight that we see Rain get through middle. Bound started to get an advantage. They're up by 1 man toward the end, but they can't secure it in the end. As Defy Rebellion, back-to-back rounds. As we see Brack after just 2 rounds of play. He's already got streaks. He's got a fighter pilot and a glide bomb. And in the back of Bound Esports' mind, they have to know that at least streaks could be a factor. So be expecting when it comes down to not just this round, but future offensive rounds, if he has not used those streaks, maybe see some of the guys from Bound try to hide in some of those buildings. But speaking of buildings, drama, making Neonn pay up close and personal. JetLi pulling out the car 98K as he's going to have to most likely sit out and try to pick off anyone he can. As I believe Brack should have earned streaks based off that last kill. As Derpun grabs the defuse, spotting 1 player just outside of 10. And kind of waving the white flag right now is JetLi. Up close and personal fight. Does Brack, and Brack finds that one too. And I believe Brack is now 6-0. Yeah, Brack is 6-0 after just 3 rounds of play. And he's going to have full streaks. And I was talking about in the St. Marie Dumont map where he was kind of having a little bit of a slow start and how talented he was when it came down to the respawns in one of Defy Rebellion's prior tournaments. I think that was back on December 13th, if I remember correct, in a regular 4v4 variant. They made it to the finals, and he was a major reason why they were playing so incredibly strong, and it looks like he can do the work on the search and destroy as well. Very talented young guy, it seems. I say young, I'm not exactly sure how old he is, but young as far as his competitive career is considered. But looking on, drama. Brack, 2 versus 3. About time they find themselves in a clutching situation, as looks like Neonn coming on a little bit of a flank as the kills are happening. Drama is currently caught out, and he's going to be in a little bit of a situation where he's going to get pinched. And I was going to say, if he could maybe escape, finds a kill to kind of exit out of that 10 area, that was really his only opportunity to escape, but jumps on those bottom docks, and Hitmxn will be here for the trade. So, of course, that action toward Waterside will finally go the way of Bound as they desperately get a round on the board. And a lot of times I talk about in Search and Destroy, especially best of threes, it's kind of continuing that momentum after a pretty dominant victory, or at least a momentous victory. It's not like, okay, we won 6-3, we won 6-4. It was that, hey, we won in round 11 in a very high circumstance moment. And so finally getting around to the board. Bound going to have to make a little bit of a comeback. Currently down by 2 rounds, up close and personal fight. Brack has only died once. He's got 7 kills, an awkward challenge for player number 5. LispZeus actually tries to go for it, but isn't able to find it. And honestly, if you're LispZeus in that situation, and if you know that's Brack, you 100% want to challenge that. Why? Because he's got streaks to work with. And Brack is just lighting it up. An insane headshot onto Neonn as he is just not missing. Looks like Hitman and Zeus responding for a few, and now Brack 1-on-2. If there was ever a guy to do it, it would be him. And I believe Hitman is actually on the defuse right now. And LispZeus is going to call that one out to his teammate. He's not going to be there in time. And yeah, the defuse is going to come in. Smart play for the boys on Bound, as they're going to win this round here. Granted, it was a 1 versus 2, but generally, Brack easily could have clutched that one out. Definitely had an opportunity to make that work, but too little too late. 9-1 for him. But it looks like those smokes are tossed out, and I believe it's one player through mid. Player number 3 was Derpun, who was trying to check through mid. Does get a little bit of information while he does take out Neonn. At the same time, Drama shuts down one. Hitman falls. And now JetLi in a quick 1 versus 2. I talked to you guys about, hey, coming into London Docks, if you're not familiar with it, these rounds will go quick. And it's JetLi in a pretty awkward position. And I like this play, actually, regarding the guys in Defy, because they're just going to kind of stick together. They can kind of play around these boxes and kind of use head glitches to advance their position to shut down JetLi. And who other than Brack? What is he, 10-1? 11-1? I'm not even sure right now. Brack is just making London Docks look easy. For sure, man. 4 rounds to 2. Defy Rebellion currently lead as they're desperately trying to force that map 3 on Arden Forest. And it's Brack right now 10-1. He's about to double up on streaks. By the time he at least uses 1. I think it's only fair if he at least rocks the fighter pilot. But it's early night. That could be good. Nearly gets hit markers, at least on LispZeus in that situation, as they have been fighting quite a bit in this particular area of the map instead of barrel building. Looks like a slower round. Looks like the bomb not actually going toward A. In fact, it's actually making its way toward B. JetLi. That's where the issues can come with the sniper rifle. JetLi at least picks off 1. Brack is there for the trade, of course, with a streak. Derpun gets down the bomb, and Brack is still alive, man. Brack is still up. He's kicking. He's 12-5. He's 200 points away off of doubling up on streaks. He's about to catch Neonn from the flank. 13-1 for Brack. And Hitman is just trying to weather the storm. Hitman up on this top box. Has to find 1. Shuts down Brack. Can he find the second? And yes, Hitman, a huge 2-piece. Jumping from the top of the boxes into middle. As this will be a round secured for the boys on Bound, as they are kind of winning these ones by such slim margins. And they say that someone is, what, 12 or 13-1? And the game is this close, it's separated by 1 round? 13-2. I don't even know. I said 12-1. I'm not even sure. Brack is 13-2, and his team is only up by 1 round. And his teammates aren't even playing that bad. Like they're all negative, but they're not playing awful. JetLi, yet again, finding the first blood, of course, does get traded by Brack as Rain finds another. And Hitmxn could be catching off Rain. At least spots one on Brack, so has the information of at least one player. As it looks like him and Lisps are going to be making that rotation toward B. And player number 1 could potentially play spoil if he does round the corner on the top box, and Rain might have spotted them. Not exactly sure, and it looks like based on the position, they could be making a full flank actually toward A instead. As you imagine, as the arrows start to kind of fluctuate, most likely the callouts that are being spread as player number 1, Rain, rounds the corner. Could have spotted someone. And just as that happens, you see all 3 arrows through mid-map, trying to make that challenge. Rain firing a few shots, firing a few bullets as the bait and switch tries to come in from them. And they have to be aware that maybe they send someone on the flank. It looks like that's what they're going to do right now for Drama. They're going to send him through Coal Room. And we'll see if he can do any damage. But here comes the fighter pilot. That one coming from, of course, Brack. But Hitmxn ends LispZeus finding 2 as Brack last up. Can't find that last one. So in some cases, I want to say the streaks are wasted. But generally, this man is fully flowing with them. It's kind of an awkward position, but just overall, a smart play from Hitmxn and LispZeus in this particular spot. Why? Because they're trying to stay alive. They're currently in barrel building. They make the rotation back toward B instead. They make the smart play. They watch the exact areas they need to. And they secure this round. 4-4. Keeping in mind, Bound ended up taking map number 1 in round 11. And these are best of 3, so 2 more rounds secured for Bound, and they advance to round 5. Defy Rebellion is trying to keep their tournament lives going. And it looks like streaks coming from above. It does, or at least should gain a little bit of information, unless every player is rocking Mountain, but Bomb moving ever so carefully. As player number 4 and 6 getting up close and personal. Neonn gets great timing. And JetLi gets taken out with a nice headshot coming in from Drama. Long-range kill. As it looks like Rain doing some work. Takes that one. Now we find ourselves in a 2 versus 2, but only for the time. Drama with these long-range shots, man. He's turning up. As Bomb is going down, what's the play from LispZeus in this position? He's got an STG. Can easily make something work. And he's trying to finish off this fight, but player coming in from cut nearly gets the pick onto one lingering through middle. But Drama yet again picking up kills and at least taking a little bit of that stress off of the back of Brack. As I'm curious heading into this next round, I want to actually take a look at Brack's point of view really quick. I want to see, does he have any more streaks to work with? It looks like so he does. He does have the artillery barrage, which is probably the most important of all the streaks if he does use them correctly. However, London Docks can find a number of different areas to try and hide in. But right now, it is the boys on Bound on the offense. And here come the streaks from Hitmxn. At least the ping. Calls in the artillery barrage in the spawn. And it looks like the separate artillery barrage coming in from Brack. So 2 artillery barrages, maybe a solid 2 feet or 3 feet away from each other, are going off for either side. And smart play coming in from Brack to call that one through. But here comes another streak from Hitmxn. Putting in a lot, but you can see he doesn't know where these players are at. Why? Because they're using Mountain. He has no idea. He gains no information, so Neonn is going to have to try to base this off of, okay, well, they weren't in the position where my teammate was shooting, but he gets greeted with a nade at his feet. Drama is quickly turning up. He's joining the party. Him and Brack are bringing their team back into this one. LispZeus is trying to weather the storm, but player number 3 is lingering inside a cut. Here comes the challenge from that player. It's Derpun. Finding 1, finding 2 is Derpun. And now JetLi last up, 1v3. Bomb has been planted, and he's got no streaks to use. And he has every point of view to try and watch. Brack is here, and it looks like Derpun will be there for the finish. as it will be the boys on Defy Rebellion who win this one in 10 rounds of play. Of course, 6-4. As we will be seeing Arden Forests be played out between both of these teams. A heavily contested fight, but you have to give massive credit to two players in Defy Rebellion throughout a lot of that series. Of course, it was Brack throughout a lot of it, nearly doubled up on streaks if didn't already. Finishes off 14-4, along with Drama, who really turns up at the end. I think it was in the last 2 rounds that we ended up seeing be secured by Defy Rebellion. It was Drama who was picking up at least 2, if not 3 kills throughout a lot of those, especially with that SMG at a very long range. So massive props to Defy Rebellion, of course, to try and win this one. But in that last round, round number 10, you ended up seeing 2 artillery barrages being used at the same time. I believe one that was used from Hitmxn, I want to say, was probably toward the flank, just to make sure they don't have to worry about that particular stance. Then he calls in the fighter pilot. And the reason why you see a lot of people are a little bit curious as to why we obviously see the red arrows, but why isn't he shooting in them? It's just because the players are using mountains, so they're not obviously being able to be seen when it comes down to streaks. So while it is an interesting play, we see the fighter pilot get called in, and the overall positioning doesn't really change. They just really aren't sure where they are because he fires at a particular area, and so his teammate who's watching the flank is like, well, they're at least not over there, so maybe they're coming on the flank, and just as he's watching the flank, a nade gets dropped at his feet, which secures. And I really got to say, massive props to Defy Rebellion for kind of making a full 3-man flank through Coal Room, and having that one lingering just inside of mid-cut definitely kind of made a very solid pinch that really the guys in bound couldn't recover from after being in a 3 versus 4. So with that, I believe we should have Arden Forest loaded up here for map number 3 very, very shortly. But feel free to put your predictions down in the chat. Are you guys going for bound? Are you guys going for Defy Rebellion? Of course, map number 1 went to round 11. Map number 2 went to round 10. Will we see another round 11? Will we see bound 4v4 Search and Destroy here on December 29th? We've currently are in a best-of-3 series heading toward map number 3 between Bound, Esports, and Defy Rebellion. Like I said, we're in map 3. It took us a while to get here, but we're loading in toward Arden Forest for round number 1, as it will be starting off an offense. The guys from Defy. As, of course, we just got to witness a solid performance coming from Brack. I think he finishes it off with 14 kills on London Docks, along with Drama, who finishes off, I think, 8-6, but really started to light things up to the expiring rounds. But Arden Forest, as the other Search and Destroy maps, of course, play a lot differently from each other. When it comes in Arden Forest, you're going to see quite a few hits when it comes down to B. Smokes, very useful when it comes down to this map on hitting either bomb site. But usually, as rounds usually start to do, especially when it comes down to the early 1 or 2 of them, you just kind of see a team kind of forcing a bomb site, trying to make something work, and just kind of, not necessarily try to get their shots warm, but just try to get a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a feel for what the defensive team is going to do, if you're, of course, on defense, what the offensive team is going to do. It's not an odd round by any means, but one where I'm sure they like to, or would have preferred to have got more kills, as both LispZeus and Hitmxn, both people to be looking out for. It looks like LispZeus will be the man to grab the bomb. As I talk about smokes, of course, there will be stuns rather than smokes being tossed out through mid, as Brack and Derpun combining for 2. And just as that happens, LispZeus and Neonn are realizing that, hey, we might actually have to back up in this particular situation. Both teams in offense struggling when it comes down to that B bomb side, as LispZeus was trying to go for that hit. His teammates following with that objective in his hands. Wouldn't be a bad idea to try to play for streaks, but with nearly a minute remaining, just under a minute remaining rather in this round, he's not going to be surviving for much longer. Yeah, just gets tagged up in the back of bunker, as he will get taken out. And just a matter of who's going to get the last shot. Would it be Drama or Derpun? Or would it be Rain? As one bullet is all needed. As I said, both teams forcing their way to B, having a lot of struggles. I think it was 3 players who survived in the first round, 4 players survived in the second round. So with that in mind, I was going to say, do we see an A hit? Because both teams obviously start to struggle. It looks like for Defy, they're going to be at least testing their wits when it comes down to this bomb site. Neonn, actually, going to be the man in the back. Surprised we won't see JetLi, actually, with that sniper rifle lingering toward back, or at least maybe with an FG or something, toward the back lines. But regardless of that, doesn't have it when it comes in Arden Forest, at least toward back cabin. LispZeus getting caught off guard. Just nice angle from Drama to re-challenge that one through Fire Alley. And with bomb dropped in a pretty awkward spot, they're going to have to try and rally to get together, because you see just outside of cabin, Hitmxn and Neonn both very close to it. As it looks like a gun engagement could be going down shortly. Hitman on a preferred head glitch over Drama. But it looks like player number 4, Brack, trying to pick up for Drama's early hit markers. As they're just trying to be a nuisance right now. They're trying to maybe not necessarily make the other team run out of bullets, but definitely trying to distract them. But it looks like Brack gets caught off guard from Neonn, holding that close angle inside a cabin. And 17 seconds remaining in Drama in a pretty difficult spot. One player sitting just outside a cave, and Neonn continuing to hold this position. I mean, he was just a force to be reckoned with when it comes down to cabin. As both B and A alike having issues when it comes down to getting that objective down. Granted, it looked a lot more successful. They had a lot more opportunities to maybe secure the round when it comes down to their second offensive hit here in round number 3, but regardless, both bomb sites not working, so very curious to see now on the offense here for Bad what they try and do. Do they try to make their way toward B, or do they make an A hit? Looks like they will be at least running through middle. Stuns are out again. It looks like Brack currently a little bit blind. Making the rush forward. Beautiful bait and switch, kind of little quick position there as the trade will come through. JetLi finishing him off, and now a 3 versus 2 advantage. As Grant, you know, of course, Bound prefers not to lose any mid if possible, but played it very strong. One player challenging from one angle, backs up, lets the other player challenge from the right. Nice play to get here inside a cabin, as LispZeus will be able to get the bomb down successfully. As Derpun just toward the outside, Neonn as well. Challenge coming forward and holding strong on the bomb site, finds 1 second in his mitts and just through the cabin walls. As the second one will be found. Holding strong here is LispZeus. Dropping both players, as long with getting the plant down, could definitely be getting closer toward those streaks. Of course, back-to-back round victories. I'm not sure if he dropped in the one prior to that, but definitely want to see how close that LispZeus could currently be toward streaks. But it looks like currently, you know, getting there. A little over halfway, but definitely a little bit of a turn to go as next offensive round here for the boys on Defy Rebellion. Tempting at least toward A, and player number 6 in the back lines, Neonn, continuing to be an issue. They've got to lock this man down when it comes down to that back cabin position. As essentially, it's really just one player who's being a problem for them. And so after A doesn't work out, you see player number 4, Brack, just trying to be a little bit of a distraction. If he can maybe find a frag onto 1, he can do some work, but Neonn finding 2, LispZeus finding the 3rd, and now Derpun last up as he falls as well. 4 rounds to 1, and honestly, it's just a matter of back-to-back offensive rounds for Defy Rebellion. Of course, let's talk about all their offensive rounds so far, right? First offensive round, they try to make their way here inside of Ruins. Doesn't really work out successfully for them. They kind of get dropped pretty quickly. That's understandable, right? Next 2 offensive rounds, what they try to do is make their way toward A. They try to make their way toward cabin, and it just doesn't work whatsoever, and that's all because of the play that we're seeing come in from Neonn. Of course, he's currently sitting at 4-1, and he doesn't have to find every kill, but as long as his presence is known, as long as he's holding a bar or holding even a sniper rifle, as long as he's just having a little bit of pressure in the back lines, they can't really force that bomb site. They can't really force the issue onto it if they don't have smokes, and it looks like they don't have any smokes on their classes. It's basically just stuns for them. And so he's going to continually be an issue on their offense if they can't really get anything done. Because right now, at least for Bound, they're not having any issues making their way toward A, as LispZeus, I believe, yet again gets the bomb down. Back-to-back offensive runs where they're able to securely get the things down here in A, but Rain, baiting his teammate out, is at least able to shut down 1. But 1 is all he can find, as it is 5 rounds to 1. Bound just looking in complete control as the guy who we've been talking about, making a big impact on A. Of course, opposite side of the map, a position usually where an enemy is lingering at for him. As he's increasing that total. Now to 5-1, with LispZeus currently sitting at 7-4, along with 2 plants. And Drama looks like going to be pulling out the sniper rifle off the break. Trying to find that first pick, as it looks like Derpun will be able to shut him down. So this, I believe the stun along with the kill works out, but JetLi is actually there to take down Brack. Neonn as well, shuts down Rain. And so we're in a 2 versus 3. Defy Rebellion just trying to at least see a round 8. Of course, only one more round needed to secure this one. Does Bound. One round more, and they will advance to the next round of this tournament. But up close and personal fight, Derpun gets great timing there onto Neonn. Finally, taking out Neonn in this position. It's taken them, what, 3 offensive rounds, but they're able to make it work at least once, but it looks like position is known. JetLi could be greeted with a nade up close and personal fight, but Derpun doesn't have the fast enough reaction time. And you see LispZeus immediately going for the defuse drama. Does he have enough time to just round the corner up close and personal? But no, JetLi is there. The defuse comes in, and it will be a dominant game number 3 victory here on Arden Forest for the boys on Bound Esports. And when you look at this series, I mean, honestly, looking at this overall series in total, I mean, this should have been a game that at least sees a round 9, if not around 10, or even overtime. But Bound, I mean, it was just a matter of offensive rounds, and I'm glad that we were looking at a lot of the I think just about every single round we were looking at the offensive team, and I'm glad that we were kind of able to do that because that was the story of what kind of happened in this overall series, right? We were talking about the beginnings of Defy Rebellion, you know, obviously winning that last search and destroy on London Docks to get a lot of momentum, especially from Brack. But when you only win one round to play, you're not really going to play very well. But he ends up finishing off 2-6, kind of has a slow map 1. A very fast game, too, as he finished off with 14 kills, and then incredibly slow map number 3. So kind of inconsistent plays coming in for Brack, at least when it comes down to search and destroy. But, of course, he's a very talented respawn player from what we've seen in past tournaments for the Rebellion squad. But it was a matter of Defy Rebellion here on Arden Forest for map 3 of their offensive hits, their execution. And it was just a, you know, granted, it's hard to tell when you're obviously in the game rather than, you know, looking at it from an outside perspective because, of course, I can see that everyone's a A, so it's like, why aren't you going B or why aren't you predicting this? But, I mean, generally when you're looking at their offensive plays, it's B and then it's A over and over and over again. And it's like they couldn't get through their head that maybe they just don't have a strategy to work out. And I don't think I saw them toss out one smoke throughout any of their offensive rounds. And that's the way that you overtake that bomb site.